All right, welcome back to Morrowind on Blackhand Gaming. We're going to pick up where we left off last week. We went and visited the internet's favorite moon sugar daddy, Uncle Caius. And Caius has asked us to look into this Nerevarine Prophecy, learn as much as we can about the history of Morrowind. Our friend Rhaenys, the guild steward over at the Mages Guild, has asked us to see if we can't convince a local Telvanni wizard to join the guild. And if we know anything about Telvanni, they like to experiment with things other magicians and wizards might find a little unnatural. Things like Daedra conjuring and necromancy, among others. And their curiosity, of course, lends them to a propensity towards some very weird and evil things. So we could be in for a ride. And while we're there, we're going to go collect some guild dues. So let's jump into it. Give the video a like and a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your support. And away we go. And feel free to leave some comments if you would like to see some other things. If you'd like to see us tackle some specific quests, specific factions, all of those things. It's very early. We're only in episode 3. So as I'm sort of like planning out the future of this playthrough and this character and our development of our character, it would be nice to know if there are things that people want to see. So the Mages Guild is conveniently right next to the Balmora Fighters Guild. And if we open our journal and go back a couple pages, let's see. These are the quests for Ajira, and then we get back to Caius, and the Emperor's command has inducted us into the Blades. And let's see, sent me to talk to Hasfet Antibalus at the Fighters Guild, and we're supposed to ask about the Nerevarine secret cult and the 6th house cult. So, and I'm sure there will be some favors exchanged. No weird stuff.
All right, I'm listening.
Okay. So this is the local Fighters Guild in Balmora. And we will probably do some quests for them. There's their bunk room. We'll probably join the Fighters Guild eventually as well, of course. And here is Mr. Hasfet.
I'm listening.
Yes?
Move over, your Hass is too fat. Let's see. Good day, Nerevar. So you're with Caius, eh? And Caius wants information, of course. There is a this for that involved. I require a favor first, and then I'll tell you what you want to know. So what is this favor? There are Dwemer ruins nearby called Arcthand, and I need you to run over there and find me a little cube with a circular design and some symbols on one side. So if you've played Skyrim, you may be familiar with the puzzle cubes in Skyrim, and they're kind of like a callback to the puzzle cube here at the beginning of Morrowind. And I guess they tend to store like some of the ancient Dwemer knowledge. So it's called a Dwemer puzzle box. Bring me back the Dwemer puzzle box and I'll tell you what you want to know. This little cube you're looking for is about the size of a fist, maybe a little bigger. Blah, blah, blah. Arcthand. The old Dwemer ruins at Arcthand are extensive on the surface and underground. Head south out of town, past the Siltstrider, then across the bridge east over the Odai River. At the signpost, head north towards Caldera. Immediately on the right, see a signpost for Molag Mar. Turn right, head up the hill to an old road to cross an ancient Dwemer bridge over Foyada Mameh. The entrance to Arcthand is on the east side of the Foyada, south of the bridge. Turn a crank on the pipe nearby to open the doors. Okay, pretty simple. Pretty simple. Does he know anything about the disappearance of the dwarves? Predates imperial written records. Dunmer oral accounts record that the Dwemer were utterly destroyed by the gods for profane practices and impiety. Dwarven ruins are scattered across Tamriel, and weapons, armor, housewares, coins, and other items of Dwemer design are often found, but the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of the dwarves remains one of Tamriel's greatest mysteries. And of course, on into the fourth era of Skyrim, this is still hotly debated. There are a lot of great theories about it, and maybe we'll get into discussing some of it. So yeah, he wants a favor before he's going to tell us about the Nerevarine, the sixth house, and I guess those are all of our dialogue options for Hasvet. And then we have Flania, and she also does some training. So yeah, Fighters Guild's a great place to go, especially if you join the Fighters Guild. Fighters Guild is a great place to go for your weapon skills. You know, I always hear people complaining about missing with their weapons in Morrowind, and
All right, I'm listening.
this is the place to correct that problem. And of
Breton?
course, Wayne here will fix any of your armor and teach you how to block with it. So Wayne's a great guy to know. And then we have
What brings you
Adis
here, Breton?
Fire Eye, and she is the local steward. So you just talk to Adis if you want to join the fighters. We're not going to join the fighters today because we have a mission to do, have a quest to complete already. And so we are going to attend to that immediately. Now, I do have some potions. Last episode, we did do a little bit of potion making. And before we leave town, this Fortify Personality is a really valuable thing to have. But if you don't have the ingredients or the ability to make one, you can always buy Telvanni Bug Musk. And the Telvanni Bug Musk will also fortify your personality for what we are about to do. We have 40 personality. Hopefully we have enough personality to make this work. There is, of course, the dice roll mechanic that can always rear its head at any time. Let's see, we have fatigue potions. We have a couple of those. Fatigue and health. And just making sure before we leave town that we are properly prepared for this voyage. Alright. We're just going to walk out here past the Silt Strider and over the old bridge. Over the River Odai, which is this river here. And we're just following the instructions from our dear friend Hasvat, who's going to give us the information that Caius requested. So, and of course we have this town. Like what would you call this? It's almost like a monolith. But yeah, it's really cool. It tells you the name of the town as you enter. And I think Balmora is the only one that has those. I haven't noticed them. I've never really paid much attention to them, but I don't believe the other towns have that. I think that's a Balmora thing, which is kind of cool. Just pointing that out. The sky's looking awfully celestial. With all the stars shining bright. And of course we can see, you know, back in the old days, one thing I'd like to point out is, you know, you see how clear and crisp the graphics are. Obviously dated, you know, it is still Morrowind, but the structure in the distance, that's where we're going. And, you know, old original Morrowind, this is kind of where, you know, even though I'm keeping most of the game mod, like without using any mods that really affect the game too much, other than you know, patches and code type stuff. But the original game, you wouldn't normally be able to see. That is Arcthand, where we were going for our quest. You normally wouldn't be able to see that because of draw distances and memory and other things in the original Xbox consoles and PCs from 20 years ago. So it's kind of cool. You can actually just see it just sort of on the hill above Fort Moonmoth, and you know, it's kind of cool. It's really very, very, very close to Balmora, and the speed, the pacing of the game, and then some of the graphic things that developers back in the day had to do to make the game, you know, look good, but also play well, you know, fun. You know, make it a fun game. some of those things, we kind of draw the curtain back when we have the ability to see across the map like this. So it looks like we have someone here on the bridge. So who is this? I wonder. Oh. Well, it looks like we are in for a good time. Now, the way to deal with conjurers is to attack the conjurer. And see, when we kill the conjurer, the conjured enemy is also defeated. So he doesn't really have anything great, but we got some experience. Little fighting experience never does too much harm. Assuming you survive, that is. Alright. And a little bit of gold for our trouble. Yeah, I think that's the first human that we've fought. Is that our first human battle? I think we've mostly been fighting mud crabs and rats and things. I don't even know if we fought a rat yet. Yeah, so this is Arcthen, and here's the crank, mentioned by Haspet. You kind of have to be quick. Don't dally. Run up here and enter the Hall of Centrifuge. Now, if you remember, we bought a crossbow last episode, and crossbow is a handy dandy little thing to have when we are out exploring dangerous ruins. Clearly there's already some people have beat us here as we noticed outside, so there's definitely going to be some other, I guess we'll call them amateur archaeologists. How's that? They're definitely in here. There's one there. I don't know if I'll make this shot, but I'm going to try it. Our marksman skill. What is our marksman skill? 15. Yeah. We'll be lucky if we make a shot. But the good news is, because we're using a crossbow, if we land a shot, it'll do really good damage. So we're just going to... Oh, there we go. Yeah, that did a lot of damage. And good night. Let's see, what does he have? Just a steel dagger. Nothing notable. We won't even bother looting that. Hearth heal. There we go. Now we could take that travel lantern for light if we needed it. Oh, we got another enemy over here. Yeah, this is literally dice mechanic based, so like we can be on target. You can 360 no scope whatever fancy stuff you want to do in Morrowind. You're still bound to dice mechanics. You're still subject to the dice mechanics, so that is the challenge with even with ranged weapons, but you get a lot better as the skill improves. Ranged weapons become very viable in this game. So now this lower portion, this is the lower portion of Arcthand, the Weeping Bell Hall. There's some pretty high level stuff compared to us, compared to our measly level 3. There's some stuff in there that'll probably eat us. But if we follow this little path up here, my acrobatics, I can't jump high enough to get up here, can I? Don't make me use a levitation spell this early in the game to get on that little ledge. All right. Now there's this little spear. Let's see. Dwarven spear. So this is valuable. If you're playing a spear character, this isn't a bad little spear to have. It's early in the game, easy to find. It's always there because it's placed. There's a Dwemer cog. That's heavy as hell, so we're not going to pick it up. An ornate Dwemer bowl. We will need this for a quest later, so I'm going to grab it. And when I say later, I mean like much later. I think it's a Fighters Guild or Thieves Guild quest. And we won't be doing it for a while, but...
You make this too easy!
Let me drink a potion.
You won't escape me that easily!
Look at that. Let's go. Look at the... What was the hit rate on that fight? We wiped the floor with that guy. Ornate Dwemer Goblet and Dwemer Pitcher I think we use for a quest later. These... I guess Cure Common Disease is nice to have, but most of these aren't really spectacular. For the weight, that Rising Force isn't really even worth picking up. And most of this Dwemer stuff is really heavy. Like the one of the things that you hear people talk about a lot is like value to weight ratio. So if it weighs 50 and the value is 100, then the value to weight is 2 to 1. Here is our puzzle cube. So we found that. That appears to be the puzzle cube we were looking for. And there's a bowl, there's a pitcher. But a lot of this stuff you'll like 4 weight to 12 or to 20 value, that's a 5 to 1 ratio. So I look at that whenever I pick stuff up in these Bethesda games, because some people will like to just go through and pick everything up, which is fine if that's how you want to play. But you'll spend a lot of time just reorganizing inventory, especially when you like are trying to do what we're doing here, doing a live play and watching together and exploring together. You don't want to watch me go through inventory for hours on end on live stream. That's why I do that stuff off stream. I didn't really do any of this last week because it's still early in the game. I haven't had to really do much inventory management yet, but later in the game I'll be doing some, just, you know, the natural bloating of RPG inventories as it goes, and we'll want to sort some of these items and things. But yeah, I picked these up. I picked these Dwemer items up because they're for a quest later. But normally I wouldn't pick up Dwemer stuff. I will pick up the coins. And the way I like to use these Dwemer coins, like the vendors don't actually take the Dwemer coins as currency, but I've come up with like my own way of using them for currencies. I trade with them. So instead of using gold, I'll like trade Dwemer coins until, until I have to actually use my gold to buy things. And as long as the vendors accept the Dwemer coins, that works out pretty well. And you'll notice it closes behind us as we leave that really funky spherical door. Yeah, that's definitely a Morrowind thing. I've never really seen anything like that in another game. Not quite like that. Here's let's see, that's not trauma root. I thought I saw some trauma root there. I'm always on the lookout. I'm really big on the alchemy in this game, and because I don't want to cheese it too much by like using vendor glitches and things, like we might do that at some point. Like at some point we're gonna be like, yeah, we need to make 10 of these potions and just have a stack of them. But you know, you can really cheese alchemy in this game, and I'm trying not to really do that for this series. But that means I will be on the lookout for naturally occurring ingredients, such as this racer plume, which will let us make a levitation potion when we combine it with trauma root. So interesting how my dialogue comes full circle like that, right? So we're not just wandering aimlessly, I promise you. There is method to my madness. We are traveling now to this point on the map. So I brought the map up here, as you can see in the bottom left corner of your screen. And right in the middle of the map, you'll see this square marked Mirandus. And the Telvanni wizard we need to find is just north. If you notice, there's a very faint light area going northeast from the western shore of this lake. And that's where we will find the Telvanni wizard and also Manwë, who is the mage who owes us guild dues. So we were sent to collect those guild dues while we're out that direction. And so yeah, I mean we're sort of, there is a path here. It may not seem like it, but there is a path going down this hill. Another cliff racer. Go figure. I've talked about hitboxes before with these with Morrowind animals, and the cliff racer hitbox is like right in the center of the chest, approximately. Like that, if you want the best chance of killing cliff racers, like aim for the center of their chest. Here's a trauma shrub. There we go. Yeah, so that will let us make levitation potions, which are really handy, especially if we're doing anything with like Telvanni. Yeah, we got some time before that one catches us. Misamsi. I forget if that's a mine or... I believe that's a mine of some sort. I could be wrong. It could just be a cave. We need another fatigue potion. All right. Yeah, there we go. Racer plumes. Always good to have racer plumes. So yeah, so we're meandering a little bit, but you know, I am watching the mini map in the bottom right corner of the screen and just trying to keep sort of an easterly direction. There's a rat over there. Let's see if we can't hit that rat. This is possible, by the way. When you have high marksman skill, that rat would be dead like 3 times now. Yeah, he'll catch up. Ah, we're missing all these shots. But you have to miss. You have to take the shots if you ever want to build your skills. I wish range, like distance, counted toward your like chance to hit with ranged weapons. I feel like if you're really close to it, you should have like a really high chance of hitting it versus being all the way up there on the hill. but you know. Not really up to us, I guess. Yeah, so we're just following this. Oh wow, we hit that forager. Hit it twice. And we have Cliff Racer incoming. Have I used... Oh, I've used all of my... Oops. I've used all of my... all of my darts. Crossbow bolts. Alright, so we're going to wait for this cliff... Now, sometimes if you, like, back up, if you, like, backpedal, you just have to make sure there's not another Cliff Racer nearby. But that'll sometimes get them to... And of course, we have magic. Can we... There we go. Got hit with some magic. Oh. Alright, so we're officially a battle mage now. We've killed with magic and sword. Let's see. Pelagiad. Mount Khan. Molag Mar is this way. Yeah. It is easy to get lost out here. Like... And you can see off in the distance there's another ancestral tomb. So ancestor worship is very common among Dunmer. So they have their Aedra worship, Daedra worship. You know, Aedra are the 9 divines that you might be familiar with from later games, Oblivion and Skyrim in particular, or ESO even. And then they have the Tribunal, which the Dunmer worship in the 3rd era. Vivek, Amalexius, Sothisil. And then they also practice ancestor worship is really common, especially with the tribal Dunmer, I believe. It's more common than with some of the, I guess more like integrated Dunmer, the ones that have sort of joined the Empire, but also the ones that are more like living in the cities and stuff. They tend to be followers of the Tribunal. Yeah, pretty much all the Dunmer in the 3rd era, if they don't live out in like an Ashlander camp, they are followers of the temple. It's pretty... you may as well say it's 100%. Oh wow, here we got another one coming. And another one come, and another one come, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we're gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. Come on. Yeah, this, like, something about backing up causes them to, like, float down to you. And then what's really weird is, like, sometimes you'll sit here and watch it, and it'll, like, all of a sudden fall, like, right into your face, and then start attacking you. It's, yeah. Cliff Racers are sort of cursed that way, like... I really wish we didn't use all our crossbow bolts. Yeah, it's a little disappointing. All right, another Cliff Racer down. Okay. Yeah, lots of restore fatigue potions. Why are we moving slow though? Is our... I mean, I guess, yeah, we've picked up a few things. You do move slower the more encumbered you are. But you also have to watch out and make sure that you don't get... You know, if you get a disease... Sometimes those diseases will affect your attributes, and you'll be like, why am I walking so slow? And then you look at your stats, and you have no speed. because maybe you have some disease that is slowing you down. So it's good to be aware of those things. Oh man, see how that one just sort of like fell at us? You can't tell probably, but I'm actually jumping at it to hit it. That's another Morrowind thing when you're fighting cliff racers. When you're fighting cliff racers, believe it or not, jumping and swinging helps sometimes. It's really weird. It's a Morrowind thing. I don't know what to tell you. But sometimes it looks like you are close enough to hit something when you're not. So jumping gives you that extra reach that you need to make the hits. Okay, can we recharge this? I know I have. Those are lesser souls. Dremora. I don't know if I want to use a Dremora to recharge it. I do want to get my magicka back. So that's something. And we are really close. We're at the lake. If we reach Mirandus, we went too far. We want to go up north of this lake. So we're getting really close. Even though our sword doesn't have any more charge, by the way, we can still fight undead with it. So this does willpower. It's just always handy to have a sword that's enchanted. Any enchantment, as long as it's enchanted, it's magical and will therefore harm undead and Daedra. Those are the rules. I didn't make them. Morrowind logic, Elder Scrolls logic, call it what you want. Let's see, do I have any? Let's see, I've got eggs. I don't see any items that will script jelly doesn't do fatigue, doesn't it? I don't think so. I guess we could just like eat these giant Kwama eggs. This is where a little bit of like cheesing and making potions is kind of helpful because you can get your fatigue back, and fatigue is just, it's so critical in this game. It slows the game down way too much if you don't have a way to restore your fatigue. And you can rest, but it's not always practical. I mean, obviously, like, we're out here in the wilderness, and if we try to rest, we're just going to get attacked by things and not be able to rest properly. So those restore fatigue potions are very critical. Okay. All right, so this is Punabi. So this is where we are going to collect the guild dues. And before we collect these guild dues, I'm going to... This should be Monway. Yes, there's someone watching you. That someone is me. Personality. So we're going to take this personality potion that we made. And we're going to see if we can't persuade. Oh, that didn't work really well. What about bribe? Oh, good. Okay, so we've got Monway's... Now, we just spent 30 gold to get Monway's, I guess, disposition up to 84. And I think the threshold is probably like 70 or 80. Let's just see. We're going to ask her about her guild dues now. Will you leave me alone if I give you the 2,000 septims? I cannot leave my research unattended. Yes. Here, take the gold and leave me to my work. I would advise you that you leave here now. We are engaged in very serious research here. And if you disturb my colleagues, they may not be very understanding. So we spent 30 gold to recover 2,000 that she owed the guild. And I believe the guild gives us half of that. So we spent 30 and made 1,000, I believe. We'll find out when we turn this in. But yeah, that's money well spent to bribe her a little bit and get, we'll just call it a refund or a discount on her membership. A good member discount for paying her dues and not making us fight for them. Or what happens typically, if you're not able to convince her to give up the dues, then she suggests that you pay them yourself. And at this early stage in the game, we have, let's see, well, we currently have just shy of 3,800 gold. Well, she just gave us 2,000, so yeah, it would be more gold than we even had if we were like, hey, we'll just pay your guild dues for you, because that makes sense. So so it's really important to like try and convince her if you can. Very, very important. So that's why we made that. There, like a lot of the things, not everything I do, but a lot of the things I do in this game do have some method to them, some reasoning behind them, and that's why we made the potions that we made in episode 2. And if you want to know more about it, go ahead and check that video out. It's not as action packed as this one, fighting our way across the wasteland, or the ashlands, but it is informative if you're getting into the game and want to learn about alchemy. So
what do you take me for, a fool?
I don't take you for a fool. No, it's cool. We cool. Let's see. So who are we looking for here? This is Silipund, and we need to go to, let's see, Rhaenys asked me to convince Larar Berilith to join the guild. If he cannot be convinced, I must kill him. Oh my gosh, that's extreme. To get to Silipund, I should leave Balmora East and pass Fort Moonmouth. Okay. So we're looking for Larar Berilith. And Larar is the sort of master of the house here in this dome. What do they call these domes? I know they have a
Isn't there someone else you can
name
talk to?
for this particular type of structure. And he's got all these are these all Bosmer?
Probably nothing.
He's got all these Bosmer
really
wood
don't want
elves
you
living with
around
him. So
here.
that's interesting, because this guy's supposed to be a Televani, which would be a Dunmer. They normally kind of look down on the Bosmers, so maybe these are all servants that live here. Could be servants. This must be our guy. He's the only Dunmer here. Yeah. Just letting our fatigue get up. I mean, even things like persuading and conversation are affected by fatigue. So if you're tired, you're just not going to be good at anything. So we're going to let our fatigue fill back up a little bit. Maybe we'll just look around here. Reflections on cult worship. There's a pile of gold on the table. On Oblivion, the Brothers of Darkness. And then we have the biographies of Baron Zaya, Anticipations. All pretty normal stuff. Sirione's sermons. Vampires of Vardenfell. So the Vampires of Vardenfell books are rare books, and they're valuable, and they are part of the puzzle to cure vampirism. So definitely, if you ever get bit by a vampire, it wouldn't be bad to know a little bit about them, which we can learn from these books. And I think there are 2 or 3 volumes in the Vampires of Vardenfell series. Yeah, so as suspected, I believe this guy probably dabbles in necromancy. This book talks about the various types of vampires, the ash vampires, the stages of vampirism. And then the other volumes, I think, introduce the vampire clans, of which there are 3. And depending on which bites you, that determines which clan you would belong to. Excuse me, I don't talk with people I don't like. Wow. Just right off the bat, I don't even want to talk to you. Take my advice, Outlander. You're a foreigner, and foreigners are not very popular in Morrowind. Make yourself more agreeable, or no one will want to talk to you. Is there something wrong with me? Stunned Magicka. We don't have, we're not infected with anything. We have Flynn for willpower and strength. Spell Absorb, Fire Shield, Lightning Frost. We used our 1 Fortify Personality potion. I was just looking to see if maybe we had something else we could use. Let's see. Restore Personality. That's Heather. Fortify. So we've got green lichen. We could just try eating the green lichen and see how that works. It won't have the effect of making like a real potion. But we can at least make ourselves more agreeable, as he says. All right, well that's something. Do you want something? All right, well, we got it up to 60. Will he join us? Collect your dues from someone else. Let's see, we got up to 70. Oh, if I agree to join, will you leave me to my research? Fine, then I will join the Mages Guild. So we nagged him into joining. So, you know, boosting our personality with that green lichen was just enough to push this this disposition up over 70, which must be his threshold. I'm guessing it's about 70. And we got a few admirers in there for free, I might add. And that is a job done. So now we could be a little tricky and steal his gold, but I think we'll just accept the fact that he joined the guild and we got our we got our duties done, and we'll just be thankful that he is joining the guild without much without a fight or fuss or anything. So yeah, I would say that was a pretty successful visit to Sulapund. What do they have in here? I think...
Don't press your luck.
Oh, this is a trap door, yeah. I don't know if I even have... I've got lockpicks, I don't have probes. So we're just going to leave that door alone. I don't think there's anything significant in there anyway. I would probably remember if there was. So... Now, we could walk back to town, but I'm not about that life. We have Almzivi and Divine Intervention scrolls. Now, this is probably a good chance to talk about what these do. Almzivi Intervention takes us to the nearest temple, the nearest tribunal temple. And let's see, we are south of Caldera's here on the map. Looking on the map, this top square is Caldera. We've been there once. And Aldrune is somewhere north of there. There's a temple in Aldrune. There's obviously the temple of Balmora. There's also the temple of Vivek, which is down in this area. And then there's the temple... Is there one in Sadrith Mora? I don't recall there being one in Sadrith Mora. So I know there's one down here in Molag Amur, I believe it is. There's a little town down here that has a temple. But if we use Almzivi Intervention, it's going to take us probably either to Vivek or Balmora from here. There's also Divine Intervention, takes us to the nearest Imperial Cult Shrine, which is also, where they worship the 9 divines. And that will take us probably to Moonmoth, because the Imperial Cult Shrines tend to be in the forts. So I believe if we use that, we're going to use Divine Intervention. So this is kind of like, there is fast travel in Morrowind. This is how it works, right? And we're going to see if we can't go to Fort Moonmoth. And it looks like it's worked. Yeah, Moonmoth Legion Fort. Bingo. First try.
Yes, that.
First try. Yeah, so that's how these Almzivi and Divine Interventions work. And they're great spells. It's really helpful to know which location you will be sent to. Once you do it, do it a handful of times in game, and you'll get a feel for where the game is going to take you depending on which scroll you use. So also there are amulets in the game which will allow us to use those spells. You can get a spell which would of course use your magicka, but there are also amulets that allow us to use like an enchantment to do the same thing. Do I want to restore my health or my fatigue? I guess we'll just go. We can walk a little bit, get some of our fatigue back. And yeah, so getting some of our fatigue back rather than wasting. We did make that really valuable restore health and fatigue potion. This is not the kind of thing I want to use it for, so we're just going to hold on to that. And you know what? We really didn't have to dip into our potions for healing. As long as we had our fatigue up, we were able to we were able to survive the fights that we came across, and that was kind of a lot of fighting for early game Morrowind. I think it's level 3 wandering the wilderness, fighting cliff racers. That's how this game was meant to be played. So that's how we know we have a decent character build. So we'll just get some of our fatigue back. You don't really... Morrowind is a game, especially early on, that you stress yourself out if you try to get in too much of a hurry. Running around tired and unable to hit things is not fun, so it's better to take your time, enjoy the sights, enjoy the sounds, take in the atmosphere, and just be part of the world. That's what this game is about. So it is very much about being part of the world, living in the world.
Go ahead, Outlander. What do you need?
At the core, that's what all RPGs really are about, right? Is being, getting into the character. So, Rhaenys, we've got some good news to report. First of all, Lerar did decide to join us, and maybe he'll give us some info on the Telvanni. Ultimately, that's what this is really about. They're trying to spy on the Telvanni. The Telvanni are trying to spy on the mages. The Telvanni, I don't think care about the mages, but the mages, I've always felt like the mages had this arrogance about them where they think the Telvanni care about them. The truth is, most of the Telvanni counselors are really, 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 really old Dunmer. I mean, I'm talking hundreds of years old. They don't really care about the mages. They're not threatened because they know that they see themselves as superior. They're very arrogant about it. I think the mages have an arrogance where they think that they're important enough for the Telvanni to care. And I really don't think they do, but that's my take on, that's my short take on it. Manwë's guild dues, by the way, we did collect them. Do you have the 2,000 septims? Yes. Good work, Nerevar. You are the first evoker to get Manwë to pay her guild dues. I knew I could rely on you. So we got to keep 1,000 gold. So we spent 30 gold. We recovered the 2,000 gold, and she let us keep 1,000 gold. So we spent 30 gold to get 1,000, and we got some quality restore magic potions for getting Lerar to join the guild. So yeah, that was a pretty successful trip. Are we ready for advancement? Appreciates the duties you've done, but you simply do not meet the requirements of conjurer. So at this point, what she's saying is our skills are not high enough. And this is something that I think, it may be just a difference in thinking from old games to now, but I will say fans of Morrowind would tell you that this is more believable. So one of the criticisms, and I kind of share this criticism, like in Skyrim, I like Skyrim, but the fact that you can like just jump into the mage's college and then 30 minutes later after some questing you're the like head of the whole mage's college is not very believable. In Morrowind, the way the mages, well, all the factions really work, and as you can see, I've got the mages guild highlighted here. It's got our rank of evoker, and then the next rank of conjurer requires us to have 30 intelligence and 30 willpower. So if you look on our skill sheet, we have 50 and 50, so we meet that. But our skills, and it has the listed skills that the mages care about, which are alchemy, mysticism, illusion, alteration, destruction, enchanting. 1 skill at 40 and 2 skills at 10. The 1 skill at 40 is where we fail because we don't have any skills at 40. Even our long blade, which we have used quite a lot to this point for fighting, is only at 38. Our athletics, which we have leveled quite a lot from running everywhere, is only at 38. So we are going to have to come back to the mages when we get one of those skills to 40. Okay, the 10 is easily achieved for the secondary skill. I mean, you can see most of these: illusion, conjuration, alteration, enchant is at 5, but most of them, my alchemy is at 21. That counts. Restoration is at 25. I don't think that was on their list, was it? Yeah, restoration is not on her list, but destruction is at 30. So we have the secondaries, but we need to get one of them, and it's probably going to be alchemy. But I think it'll definitely be alchemy before we get destruction to 40. Just because I want to do a lot of alchemy, so we'll probably get alchemy to 40, but we're going to have to come back to the Mages Guild when we meet the requirements to progress. Now, that doesn't mean we can't continue doing things for the mages. We just can't do anything for Rhaenys if she requires Conjurer. Let's see, does she have duties? Yeah, so she has an Argonian at the Southwall Corner Club is offering training and restoration without the sanction of the guild. I want someone to stop his unsanctioned training. I have word that an Argonian is offering training and restoration at the Southwall Corner Club. This Argonian, whoever he is, does not have the sanction of the Mages Guild. Convince him to stop offering unsanctioned training. So we can continue doing duties for Rhaenys, but we will get to a point when she or some of the other guild stewards will say, I don't have any duties for you until you're a rank of conjurer, and that's when we're going to have to go level our skills up and come back. So for now, we're going to be stuck at that rank. We can go to the other guild stewards when we run out of stuff to do for Rhaenys, and we can go work for them. So it's not a big deal, but that's how factions work in Morrowind. And likewise, since we're on the topic, the Blades has skill requirements. The Imperial Cult has skill requirements, and it shows you these. And see, we're only a layman of the Imperial Cult because we just joined. We haven't done any quests for them. And so their minimum requirements, you have to have 1 skill at 10 and 2 at 5. That's very easy. Almost any build you do for your character will meet those requirements for the cult. And same with the Blades. It's not really a big deal, but you will run into it with like the Mages Guild and stuff early on. And so again, it comes back to don't get in a hurry, enjoy the game, and just be part of the world. And when we come back later, we'll be a conjurer. But it makes us feel, it really does make it feel like we earn something by playing and having to, it feels good when you achieve that rank, knowing that we had to do something to get there. So, have you done that little favor I asked? Yes. So he takes the puzzle box. Perfect. Just what I was looking for. Just let me take this Dwemer puzzle box, and then I'll tell you what Caius will want to know about the 6th house and the Nerevarine. By the way, the inscriptions on the box seem to be the directions for setting a Dwemer key to open a specific lock. If you're interested after you've delivered your report to Caius, come back and maybe I'll have a key you can take back to Arkanthan. So we can get this key and we can go raid the other parts of Arkanthan, and we can get some, there's some loot in there. There's some things we can sell and whatever. It's cool. So So he's going to tell us about the sixth house. House Dagoth is the sixth house, the lost sixth house. In the first age, House Dagoth betrayed the other great houses during the War of the First Council and was destroyed for their treason. I can answer any questions you have, but I'll also give you some notes to give Caius and recommend some sixth house references he should read. What are those references? Here's a list of cheap books. All of them will tell you something about the sixth house and how it ended the War of the First Council, Saint Nerevar, Nerevar Moon and Star, and the real Nerevar. Try the bookseller Dorisa Darvel over in the commercial district. She'll have at least some of these titles. So we can go get these books and read them, take them to Caius and such. Okay, and then let's see, that was the sixth house and sixth house references. House Dagoth was the sixth house of the 7 Dunmer great houses. Nothing remains of the sixth house. Its members were all slain or adopted into other great houses following their treason in the War for the First Council. Their clanstead was called Kogaroon. Kogaroon is an ancient fortress. We will visit Kogaroon later in the story, I believe, as we dive into the sixth house mystery. So what about the Nerevarine? The Ashlanders believe a reborn Nerevar will unite the Dunmer against the Outlander invaders and restore the ancient Dark Elven nation. Nerevar is a legendary hero and saint of the temple. But the temple denies the prophecy and persecutes heretics who believe in the Nerevarine. Tell Caius that Sharn Gramazgob, that's an orc name if I've ever seen one, would be a better person to ask about the native faiths and superstitions. Sharn Gramazgob. Okay. So we're going to go see if we can't pick up some of these books, take them to Caius. Take the notes to Caius. Let's see. The notes on the sixth house references. I think that's it. So the real Nerevar, Nerevar Moon and Star, Saint Nerevar, and the War of the First Council. Those are the books we want to go get from the bookseller. I wish our fatigue increased while we were speaking to people.
Can you ask your question quickly?
All right, so the bookseller is just across the street. This is Dorisa Darvel. Hi, Miss Dorisa. We are looking for books on Morrowind lore and culture. Let's see. Vivek and Methala. Vampires of Ardenfall 1, which we saw earlier. Let's see. Pilgrim's Path. The Pilgrim's Path tells you how to join the temple faction, by the way. And that's kind of an interesting series of quests that you have to take on. It's really a pilgrimage. It's kind of cool. It's a true pilgrimage that sends you all over Vardenfell and to some very significant religious holy sites. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Histories of the Empire. Yeah, so interestingly enough, she doesn't have any of those books that we were looking at, that he told us to buy. Okay, well, never mind. I say good day, and thank you for letting us visit your shop. So let's go back and visit Caius and see what Caius has to say about what we've discovered so far.
Do I know you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, Uncle Daddy Caius. Let's see. Are you here to discuss your orders, Nerevar, or is there something else you want? Yes, as a matter of fact, we have some good news to report. These notes are from Hasfet Antibalus. Excellent. I trust he didn't work you too hard for them. I'll look them over in more detail later, but now I have some new orders for you. Okay, so we've given him our notes. I've glanced at Hasfet Antibalus' notes. They cover the 6th house admirably, but not the Nerevarine cult. Hop on over to the Balmora Mages Guild. It's right next to the Fighters Guild. Get Sharn Gra Mazgab to tell you what she knows about the Nerevarine. She'll have some silly errand for you. Do what she asks and report back when she's given you the information. Very smart for an orc, an unhealthy interest in the dark arts perhaps, but very smart. She's always worried that the temple will bust in and stick her in a fire, like burn her like a witch, I guess, and worried with good reason. All right, yeah. The temple, I guess, frown upon her necromancy or conjuring or whatever it is that she does. So, we're going to go ahead and just end there for the night. And we will jump back into this with continuing the helping the Blades. We'll go get some more information on the Nerevarine cult, and we'll get some other quests started for the mages and the fighters. We're going to get into some of these other factions. So we've got a lot of Morrowind left to play. It's a very long game. We're going to be doing this for a while. Thank you for watching. Give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. I've got a lot of other games I'm streaming on here. More Cyberpunk videos coming out this week, more Counter-Strike, more Baldur's Gate. So stay tuned for all of it, Starfield, of course, and we'll catch you in the next video. And I really appreciate your support in following the channel. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I'm learning a lot as far as like the streaming and some of the software, and I'm just kind of enjoying it. So thank you for watching and being part of the journey, and we'll catch you in the next video.